Hello and welcome to another live stream. Hopefully this thing is working. Let's see here. Yes, it is. Okay, awesome. Sharing. Hey there, how's it going? Sorry, just sharing to a couple pages. Hey Mark, how's it going? Okay, all right. Here's where we left off last week. You can recall, and I'm going to go grab a new colored reference. Because last week I was using the drawing, and now I found the colored version, which is amazing. Chrissy is a fantabulous, that's a word, fantabulous artist. Can you guys hear me okay? How are my levels? Are they decent? Okay. All right, let's get rocking on this. I don't know if this is gonna last me 2 hours to do this, but hey, we're gonna try. We'll make it happen, right? All right, let me close some of this down. And I want to get some music going. There we go. Okay, how are you guys today? How was your week? You been good? So far, so good for me. Okay. I'm trying to decide if I want to connect these tentacles right up to the head. I think I'm going to, so I can smooth them out and get a better transition. And then start loading them up. I might load them up with these suction cups before I connect them to the head, though. So let's do a, this is how big her head is compared to the scene. Pretty ginormous. Okay, so I'm going to append a, what do I want to do? I'm going to append a sphere. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. So if you have an object selected, like this head, and your gizmo is showing, and then you click on a primitive object or any insert multi-mesh, it's going to replace that mesh with whatever you select. So I'm going to actually use that to my advantage and select this. And then center my gizmo at the home and then select it because I want to replace something I'm not using, not something I am. Okay, so let's make these tentacles. Actually, I'm going to use a cylinder, I think. This should go pretty quick. Now, this cylinder is very particular. It's a cylinder that I ship with my primitives. And if you want these primitives, you can get them over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. I give them away for free. About halfway down the page, you can find them. Anyway, you'll notice that this cylinder does not have any poles. Well, it doesn't have a single pole in the center that with a bunch of triangles. And that's on purpose because if I want to subdivide this, it's going to subdivide nicely because it's made of all quads. Hey Zeta, how's it going? Or is it Zetai 3D? How's it going? Okay, so I'm going to use the Z modeler brush to go ahead and cut this up. Okay, so I'm just going to use some insert some edges here, and then I can also, oh, looks like my menu's not working. So if you have a custom user interface with a menu and if it stops working, or if you light up ZBrush and just is not there, you can just go to Preferences, Config, and then hit Restore Custom UI. And then you should see any menus, your custom menus show up. So there we go. And now I have, I can do groups by normals. And what that does is that puts anything that's past whatever number I have set up in right here. So this is set up to 45 degrees. Anything beyond 45 degrees is going to be put in its own polygroup. Hey, Mr. Monsty, how's it going? Hey, Acte. I'm doing well, thank you. Okay, so now that I have this group, what I can do is I can go to my Z modeler, hover over a face, and do inset. But the thing with inset, and you'll see what I'm talking about, is if I hit inset and I do inset region, let's see, center and border. Let's just see what it does. Okay, I want to do polygroup all. Okay, that's actually working okay, but it's making some crappy faces. I'm trying to decide if I care or not. Another thing I like to do instead is, because I want to keep this, apologize for the stuttering, I want to keep this circle, this pink group, just like it is. So what I'll do instead is I'll extrude it and extrude polygroup all, just bring this up a little bit. Then I can mask this off at the center, scale it down, and see how this is working better than inset. I like it better because it's cleaner, gives me nice edges all the way around. And then we can extrude that back down in, mask that off, center it. Let's turn off symmetry for a minute, because I want to shrink this down, kind of make it look like these suction cups here. And then for this edge, you'll notice that I have both of these are in the same polygroup. Well, I can extrude a whole ring without changing its polygroup, and they're in ZBrush, they're called poly loops. So I can say extrude poly loop. If you zoom in here, you'll see there's this little orange line, and that is pointing the direction that this poly loop is going. Okay, so if I click and drag with it like this, now I can create this kind of lip, suction cup edge. Okay, and I'm going to make the whole suction cup just a little bit taller. And you'll see I don't want this crease, so I'm going to get rid of uncrease all, and I actually don't need this anymore. So I'm just going to delete that. And then I'm going to slide this edge down. So I'm going to hit slide edge loop complete. Just bring it down a little bit, just to round that out. And make this guy a little taller. And you can see these suction cups, they kind of go in, they kind of shrink in the center before they go out again. So I'm going to insert an edge loop here. And now what I can do is transpose edge loop complete. And what that does is if I click on an edge now, it's going to mask everything off and then give me this gizmo. But you'll see the gizmo is out here. Now I could use hold down Control to inflate on this yellow square. I can just do that. See how it inflates and deflates as I go. Or I could center this gizmo and scale it down that way. So, but this works just fine. So now if I hit dynamic subdiv, it should look like the suction cup I was after. Is this the suction cup you were after? Yes. Okay, so I think we can make the interior just a little bit deeper, a little bit sharper. So let's do that by Masking this off again. Whoops. So here's the, oh, is it freezing? I was wondering why it's all quiet. I don't know. What's going on with Twitch? Is anybody else over on Twitch having that same problem? There's been a handful of people respond, but I only have 88 people watching. Usually it's a couple hundred. No, we're good? Okay. I'm sorry. Maybe try reloading Twitch and see if that fixes it. And thanks for the responses, guys. Okay, so now we have a problem. This edge ring is pink, and this base in here is pink. So when I went to mask this center off, it's the same poly group. So there's a couple things we can do. We can isolate this, and then we can do a poly group by poly loop. Just do that. There we go. So I didn't necessarily have to hide everything in order to do that. So, okay on YouTube? Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. Okay, sweet. So now if I want to, I can come in here and see how this, when I divide it, it's really loose. And at these corners, it's kind of pulling because they're poles. They're three-sided poles, right? So what I can do to mitigate that is actually insert one more edge right here. Bring it down. Now when I subdivide it, see how it's a bit cleaner. You can still kind of see the poles and they're being pulled in. One more thing I could do is you can minimize where the poles are. Not that it matters at this size, especially this size, but I just kind of want to show you what I would do to fix this. And same with the bottom. See how these three-sided poles are pulling? Pull. Really close. Okay. So a couple things we can do on both sides. Well, you can delete the bottom, so it's just an open hole, because wherever we're going to draw this tentacle on the surface, it's hopefully going to be sunken down into the surface. But I like to keep my objects solid. Hey, what's up, B-Man? How's it going? Hey, Sean. So what I can do is I can inset this a little bit more, and I'm not going to use inset because you saw what happens when you use inset. So instead, I'm just going to use this edge I already made, and I'm just going to shrink this in. So it's really small. Poles. And then I can insert an edge loop right here. Okay, so now that looks like a drain, right? So now when I subdivide it, look at that. It's pretty clean. There aren't any poles. You can see some poles down here. So let's fix those next. Okay. So what I can do, I'll insert an edge loop really close to this, like that. And then mask this off and then shrink it down. Ooh. It works better if you make noises while you do this stuff. Boom. Okay. And then I can insert some edge loops kind of close. I'll show you what it looks like before. See, this is if I don't put an edge loop next to the edge. And this is what it looks like if I do. I'll put this closer to the edge. And you'll see it tightens up that edge right there. Okay, so we are very close. Yes, thanks Nightbot. So you should join the Pixologic team live for a special stream where they'll be previewing the upcoming ZBrush 2021.6. Super exciting stuff. You can click on that link that just got posted to check it out. I can't remember the date, but okay. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. I can't wait to see what they're working on. Hey, IR Sculpts, how's it going? Please tell me, how did you put that transparent concept art on top? Is it pure ref? It is not pure ref. It is just Spotlight within ZBrush. So essentially if you have any solid black color on your image, ZBrush is going to knock that out to 0, which is transparent, which is alpha. So what I did, I don't think you can see it. Let me turn this off here. Okay, so in Photoshop, I essentially took my image and knocked out the back. So kind of like you would with a PNG, right? And then I took the levels of the actual image and brought them up so I didn't have 100% black anywhere in my image. And then I filled the background with black, and then I just put her name. This is the original artist that did that. So anyway, that's how you do it. It's really easy, and then you can just load it into Spotlight. Yeah, and I like it better than PureRef. I like PureRef a lot, don't get me wrong. I like it how you can load a bunch of images and you can save your layout and everything. But in here, the reason I like it is because I can scale images up and down, and I can turn the opacity up and down right here, and I can stamp those images right onto my objects if I want to, and I can eyedrop colors from it. There's a whole bunch of benefits from having this here. The only thing I don't like about Spotlight is it will not save with your project or Z tool. So the way you have to save it is by going up to texture and then save Spotlight right there, and then it will save it, and it will save the locations and everything. So then all of a sudden one file becomes 2, and you have to keep track of it. So if you're sharing it with somebody, you have to send 2 files. Not the best, but it's pretty cool regardless. Okay. Oh, thanks, Noah. So tomorrow's ZBrush update stream at 11 a.m. Pacific. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to blend this out, and I just want to pull this in. Just need to remember to, oh yeah, thanks, Neil. Neil, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be on holiday. Come on. So, but yes, you'll want to turn Spotlight projection off, which you can see I haven't yet. Otherwise, all of your brushes will not work when you have this Spotlight being used in this way. Okay, so this is in my custom user interface, but you can find it. Let me see. Let me move this to the side. Here's another did you know? Did you know you can hover over stuff, hold down Control? Oh, it's still put over the top. Gosh dang, I'm trying to get it out of the way so we can read it. Okay, so, and you can see I'm holding down Control and hovering over this button. You can see where the button path is on the bottom of that quick tip there. See, it says it's under Brush, Samples, Spotlight Projection. So if you go under Brush and then Samples, it's right there, Spotlight Projection, and you can turn it off. Okay? Yeah, Cricket, I know, ZBrush Startup. Honestly, and I'm such a hypocrite because I was going to say, honestly, the reason I don't use ZBrush Startup is because I don't want to inundate people with too much stuff they have to do. I try and keep ZBrush as vanilla as possible. Although, you know, like when I'm saying I'm a hypocrite, I also suggest my user interface. But if I'm saying go use your user interface and then load this thing and load, you know, it becomes kind of too much. So I try and keep it on the down, you know, like simple. But yes, Cricket, that's true. Do I do any other art styles? I usually do stylized characters, and then I venture to and fro within stylized characters. I don't really do much hard surface stuff other than props. I don't really do realistic characters other than maybe some texture work on some stylized characters, but not really. Do I take payments? I only have a single pay option and a 2-pay option because it's still just me, and I don't like to go chasing payments. I don't want to go bug people and say, hey, you know, yeah, I'm not that guy. So, yeah, I offer 1 or 2. That's essentially it. Just part of the 3D character workshop, so we mentioned it many times. Just rib, yeah, Cricket. I know. I appreciate it, seriously. And if you don't know what that is, what ZBrush Startup is, it's just a startup dock plugin that you can use to preset all of your ZBrush settings in. So whenever you open up ZBrush, you can open up that startup file and it will load in all your settings, which is really cool. So what I don't use it because I usually use a ZBrush project. It's called Z project. And that's if you hit Control S. Control S will save the project, which will save everything that you have loaded currently, which would be any models that you have, any history, all your brush settings, all of that stuff. And those files become very, very giant. They become massive and heavy, and they take up a lot of hard drive space. They could, especially if you have a lot of tools loaded. If you look over here on the right, if you have a whole bunch of models loaded up here, your projects can get large. That's why I like to instead use projects as a startup file and then load my Z tools or my models into that. Okay, so my startup file, again, I give it away for free over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com, and it's this ruler file right here. And I'm working on a new one that's 3D printable, but for now, it's right here. And so every time I start up ZBrush, I start it up, I open up this, this is called Lightbox, and I go to my project folder and then just open up my ruler. Okay, this was just a test one over here. I was trying to test to see if I could get millimeters to stick, and they won't. I actually reached out to Pixologic, and millimeters, I mean, the measurements are the same, like the ZBrush units are technically in millimeters in my project file, but it doesn't say millimeters on the top left. It just says units, even though. So anyway, oh yeah, I will be sending out email. If you're on my email list, I will be sending out emails, letting everybody know when the price is going up. So on my course. All right, it should go out an email if you are on the mailing list, but I would keep an eye on emails. Yep. And if you sign up for my 3D or my free brushes, that's how you get on my emailing list. So if you ever subscribed and then you decided to unsubscribe for some reason, if you want to get back on that emailing list, just go download the brushes again or sign up again. Yeah, Ian, right? I asked Paul about that, and he said, since it's a plugin, since the scale, what's it called, Scale Master, since the Scale Master is technically a plugin, they don't support it as far as, like, it's not as integrated as it would like to be. Yeah, as they would like it to be. There you go. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, but essentially you can set it to millimeters here very simply. I'm actually working on a YouTube video right now explaining how to set it to millimeters and how to use the ruler file better. So anyway, because a lot of people were like, how do I use that thing? All right. I know. Okay. So it's taken me a half an hour to make a suction cup. I'm really milking this one. Oh goodness. Okay. So I'm actually going to so I want this suction cup just to be by itself in a tool because I want to make it an insert multi-mesh brush. Okay. So also I got a shout out to Ian. So IR Sculpts is Ian. Ian is another streamer on here. He streams Sunday nights. What time, Ian? Anyway, he is working on what is that called? What is it called? Demon? Is it Demon? I want to say Demon Slayer. Is it Demon Slayer? Yeah, tell me it's Demon Slayer. Okay. Anyway, so he just barely started last night. I was watching him. Yeah, I was right. Okay. Demon Slayer. Yeah, super cool. I love that anime, by the way. It's really cool. Okay, so if I want to put this I keep wanting to call it tentacle. If I want to put this suction cup in its own file, its own tool, basically all I have to do is click on this Make Polymesh 3D. Okay, and now it popped it out of there and made it its own tool with one single subtool in it. Okay. So I think I have seen the movie. Yeah, super cool. Love it. So now we have our suction cup, but I think it's a little too wide. I want to make it a little taller. Let's make it a little taller. And then I'm going to put it on the floor like so, because I want it when I draw, when I pull this, when I draw this out. And Ian, can you remember if it has to be facing forward or up? I can never remember which direction. I'm trying to learn ZBrush, but it's so hard. I'm using it for a VTuber model. Oh, awesome! I'm kind of dabbling in that myself. But it can be difficult to learn. But oh, it's up. Okay, thank you. So yeah, this is facing upwards, but okay, I'm gonna hide this for a second. I kind of like to zoom extents whenever I do this, but basically I'm gonna hit B and then create insert mesh. And I'm gonna create a new one. Boom. So here it is. And we can test it out right here. There it is. Boom. Boom. Nice. Okay. We just made a suction cup brush. Oh man. We might as well save it, right? Suction cup brush. Anyway, if you're interested in learning ZBrush, it can be hard. If you're interested, I teach in a whole entire online course called the 3D Character Workshop. Teach you from start to finish a character. When I say finish, I mean like all the way as far as like retopology, UVs, baking maps, game character, and 3D printing, all of that. There's a whole bunch of my students in here right now, and I can let them, if you guys want my, let them tell you how the course is, if they like it or not. I appreciate everybody. Those, man, I swear, I've lucked out with the best students ever. They're just awesome. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Oh, I know it sounds cheesy, but I mean it. It's awesome. Okay, so let's do. Now that I have that tentacle brush loaded, thanks, Ian. And Neil, I want to ask you to grab all those awesome comments. Save them for later. I don't know how. Okay. Should I try to get a better idea to 3D model? I have 2D art experience with realism and anime, but not 3D art. I feel so lucky to have access to a master. Oh, shucks. It's wonderful and I'm grateful. Awesome. Thanks, Cricket. I appreciate that. Okay, so with these tentacles, you can do this all day. Where do I send the check? I really appreciate it. So wait, I wish ZBrush would trial the latest version. You're trying to load the setup and but it's in a newer version, trying to see if I want to bite the bullet. Thanks, Ian. I'm not sure what is their trial at. It's 2020, so that does that not work with my user interface? It should. If that's the case, I need to make sure that I put my my older user interface out there for you guys to grab, because that's no fun. Okay, well, thanks for the heads up there. I will try and get that resolved. Oh, you're okay. Let me check it out. Geez, sometimes Neil, I think Neil knows more about me and my course than I do. Oh goodness, that's awesome. Okay, let's take a look. Yes, so it's at the very, very bottom of the page. when you go download the brushes. Here, I'll just kind of sneak this and show you. Okay, can you see this sneaking out there? Okay, so right here, download brushes for 2020. You can grab them right there. Okay, otherwise you get them from here. And then there's a video teaching you how to install them, how to use them, and all that kind of stuff. So, and then if you want to learn more about the workshop, you can click on that right there. Yeah, thanks, Neil. I totally forgot about that. Like I thought, okay. Oh, goodness. Sometimes Neil keeps me on my toes. Thanks, Neil. Yep, go grab them and check them out. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email at shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions. I'm trying to work on getting like a little chat thing right there. So if you have questions, you can just ask me. Okay, right there, meaning like on my website. Okay. Now see how this is kind of floating over the surface? They might, sometimes they do. Not every time, but sometimes they will. But a Wacom, that's a good first step. Okay, so I'm gonna go to brush depth. As you can see how this is floating above the surface, this horizon line indicates the surface of the object you're drawing the brush on or stroking your brush on. So I want the suction cups to kind of sit inside the mesh a little bit. So I'm going to move that depth down. That's too far. Let's do it again. So it started out above it. So I'm going to try what happens if I do right below the surface. What does that look like? Let's try one more time. Maybe a smidge above. You know, that'll work. That's good enough. If any Pixologic people are listening in, I seriously wish ZBrush would create a more traditional poly modeling workspace. Yeah, Todd, I don't think that will happen. Keep the sculpting workspace as is and you'll make everybody. Yeah, and it's just because of the nature of ZBrush and how it was developed and how it's, you know, how long it's been around. There have been people asking for that since day one, and that's just not ZBrush's DNA, you know. And it's a digital sculpting program first, and the sorry, I'm like drawing these on kind of, there we go. And they've been able to draw millions and millions of polys on the screen, which is something that other applications can't do. So there's a reason for that, right? And that's kind of what has put ZBrush above the others, because it's a 2.5D environment. And basically all that means is you can, it's only, well, I don't want to kind of reveal Oz behind the curtain, but it's only really calculating everything when you rotate the models, right? When it's sitting here just like this, it's like pixels with Z depth. So it's not a real viewport, like real meaning like Maya or something like that. It's its own thing. So to make this a traditional polygon modeler wouldn't make too much sense for them. The closest thing they have is Z modeler, which is awesome. But yeah, that's why it's good to use ZBrush in conjunction with other products. Is this coming in with a mask? No. Okay, that was really strange. So I hope you can understand that. Oh, that's why local symmetry. Yeah, a different set of hotkeys. I think you can. I'm not sure exactly how customizable the hotkeys are from ZModeler. But I agree with you there for sure. I never want ZBrush to behave like Maya Max. If I wanted that, I'd just use those programs. Yep. Hey, Jace, how's it going from Jamaica? Wacom is so worth the investment. My hometown is 30 minutes from the American HQ for Wacom. Oh, cool. Oh, that's what you were saying about. Did you say New Hampshire? Where did I read that? Sam, I'm trying to figure that out. Why it's turning invisible while I draw the suction cup on. Because usually it doesn't, unless I'm really pinging my CPU for some reason. Okay. So I'm going to put each of these in their own group. And then I'm going to mirror and weld this. Oh, because it's solo mode, right? Okay, so if I turn solo mode off, I'd have to hide all this other stuff probably. Let me delete these. Okay. I don't think so. I think just if I'm in solo mode, let's try this out. Let me hide these eyeballs. Well, I did. So this is dynamic turned on and this is off. So let me try it one more time. Let's prove the theory. Okay, so yeah, see, it's dynamic is off. If I turn dynamic on, it still does it. So I think it's just a culprit of solo mode in general. Yeah, so if I turn solo mode off, then it doesn't do it. No worries, no worries. I wanted to try that out because it would be cool if that was the case. Okay. Oh, no need to apologize. Half the time I can't remember what it does and what it doesn't. There's so many things with ZBrush to remember. That's funny too, because if it's been a while since you've used ZBrush, it's really easy to forget. Okay. You know, I kind of want to keep them larger for further down here. Maybe. Sorry, I'm taking a while. I'm taking my time to draw these. I'm hoping to. Hope I can complete it today. That's the goal anyway. So it's only been 39 minutes today and then 2 hours last week. Also, if you guys didn't know this, when you draw an insert multi-mesh out, oh, Ahsoka is a Twi'lek. Actually modeled Ahsoka for Disney Infinity. So if I pull this out, you can push it in and it will scale it back on just X and Y and not Z. So I don't know if you knew that or not, but that's a cool little trick. So for like these little smaller but taller guys right there, you do that. Okay, now we can do, let's take a look at these. Auto group, turn off local symmetry. Anytime you do a mirror and weld, you want to turn off local symmetry. Otherwise it's going to mirror across itself. And sometimes you'll have bad symmetry and it'll keep that bad symmetry. How do you lock it so each IMM is the same size? I'm not sure. I've been drawing these out each by hand, so you can make an insert multi-mesh on a curve and draw them out that way, and it will kind of populate them along a curve. Okay, I'm just going to mask off this so I can, I'm going to use move elastic and then turn on topological. So then I can just kind of pull each one of these out a little bit, nudge it around. I don't pull it out too much. Oh, there's a plugin called IMM Draw Size. I've never heard of that one, Mark. That's cool. Thanks for the info. Oh yeah, Neil. Mark was helping us out last week by posing as you with the links, being handy with the links. So again, thanks for that. I used to play Twi'leks in the Star Wars MMO by Sony. Yeah, same people who did EverQuest. I played that game. It was an underrated game since KOTOR. So, oh my gosh, you brought that up. My buddy, oh my friend, he would play. You know how you could be a dancer in that game? Oh my gosh. Okay. My face is already going red because it's hilarious. He played this Wookiee, and it was like this white Wookiee with this brown like stripe going around. And he named himself Skidmark the Dancing Wookiee. Okay, I got that out of my system. Okay. Oh, childish humor, but oh, it was so hilarious. Because the first time I saw him, he was dancing in a cantina. He was like, oh, I couldn't stop laughing. It's like, what? Oh. Okay, sorry, childish humor there for a minute. That was a fun game, though. A little ahead of its time, I think. Yeah. Skidmark the Dancing Wookiee. I want to know if any of these ZBrush masters know any more info on this new update. I can tell you this, they're bound to secrecy. Hey, what's up, Sean? You start dragging the IMM brush, then hold control. It will snap to a size dependent on your brush draw size. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. Learn something new every day. Let's try it. Okay, let's, okay, my brush size is about this big. So if I start drawing, whoops, okay, start drawing, control, oh, look at that. Bam. Hopper Sean is the winner. That's awesome, man. I did not know that. Oh, that's cool. Okay, very cool. Yep, NDAs and all that. Yep, what's your least favorite part about sculpting? My least favorite part about sculpting is actually not sculpting. It's retopology. I'm not a, you know, I like retopology, but for the most part, it's just this long, tedious thing that I really don't care for. You literally learned that today? Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing. Oh, I need to auto group these. They're colorful. Look at that. I wish it would give us this rainbow every time. That's awesome. Man, look at that. Like just now. Yeah, I was today years old when I learned that. Darth Vader happened to show up that day. I was Jedi, and he was like 30 or more levels ahead of me. Oh goodness, really? He's like, like the ending of oh, what's that one movie where Darth Vader kicks butt. Your top was a pain. I did a bust for your class and gave this dog character a mustache and did not want to break down into nice quads, right? Yeah. Yeah, hair and retopologizing hair is the worst. The worst. Hey Tara, how you doing? Okay. Tara's another one of my amazing students. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, we should probably save this. Yeah, right. Hey, Tom, how you doing? Um, yeah, ZRemesher is getting close. It's getting really close. If you can like, I don't know, punch it into what you want it to be, then it's very close. But it's still not there. It's still not there. Your ArtStation work, which is amazing, by the way. Do you carry the poly paint over for rendering? Yes. How do you get that really nice cartoon style rendering keyshot? Lee, it's actually not too far away from keyshot standard. I mean, there's a couple of extra lights in there. But I kick down the roughness on the material, and then certain parts are shiny like eyeballs and things like that. I'll crank up the roughness on those. But yeah, it's not anything crazy. Let's see. But yeah, Keyshots was a game changer for us at Disney, because we did all of Disney Infinity 1.0 rendering it out in Mental Ray and Maya, and that was a pain and suffering. Trying to figure out what your next sculpt will be. I need to do a lesson in the class, in the course, a lesson on how to go down the rabbit hole of concepts inside of Pinterest, because that is a deep rabbit hole that you can find yourself in, and it's fun. Now this reminds me of the girl from Marvel, the collector's assistant. Speaking of which, if you haven't yet, you should check out What If. That was surprisingly. I was surprised. It was good. Are you working in 4K? I'm working in, I think this is 3K actually, 2 or 3 on this Cintiq. I have an older 27-inch Cintiq. I have a 4K up above me that I will sometimes move my stuff to and check out, but for the most part, yeah, I think it's on this 2K. Yeah, yeah. If it makes you smile, then you're good, right? That's how you can tell if it's working or not. Will I ever take my cap off? Yes. There's nothing there. My forehead just keeps going. Okay. Sorry, I got to focus here for a second. I want to attach the eyelids, and let's see. I kind of like this pink color on there. I'll get that in the poly paint here in a minute. Thanks, Kickster. Do your meshes okay? You need to do a lot of work in Blender. Max Maya to delete a lot of poly. Yeah, if I'm going to be doing any retop by hand at all, I will typically just do it from the beginning, because it's so difficult to like start with a Z-remeshed mesh and go from there, unless it's really close, but most likely it's not. Z-remesher is fantastic for making really solid sculptable meshes that you can then subdivide and continue to sculpt on. That's what it's there for, and it does an impeccable job for that. But for retopology in like movies, I mean, if you're on a budget and you're trying to push it out as fast as you can, yes, you can get away with it technically. But if you're in a production environment and you're handing it downstream to the rigging department, they're gonna not be happy with you at all. So I'm just gonna throw that out there right now. Okay. let's see. I'm going to save this before we go any further because I'm going to start doing crazy stuff. Like combining stuff. All right. Now, I don't necessarily want these suction cups to be sticking into her head. Although maybe that's how she keeps them from flailing about. Okay. Just want to pull these away just a little bit. Are you going to tackle the necklace and anchor? I want to, if I have time. I have another hour, so we'll see how it goes. There we go. Okay. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it yet, you should check out Ian's zombie cap. You can put a link in here, Ian, if you want. Do it. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, so let's take a look at this. What do I want to do here? I think I want to leave the suction cups as separate objects, but I want to combine this. Hey, Steven. Oh, thanks. Yep, it was just leading up to this, right? Okay, so let's apply this. That'll work. There it is. Awesome. Thanks. You guys should check that out. So again, I said again, Ian. It was like a mix between again and Ian. Again. I was going to say again, Ian is a sculptor on here as well. You're currently watching the Pixologic live stream. Whole bunch of different streamers stream on here. I'm just one of many of some seriously talented folks, and they all teach you different things like hard surface and realistic characters and jewelry and all sorts of things. So if you want to check out a schedule, you can go to ZBrush. What is it? ZBrush.com live /live. Maybe, I don't know if Neil's still here, but if you could pop a link to that in chat, or you could just do a search for ZBrush Live and you'll find it. And then you can just go to the calendar and you can see all the other streamers on here. But Ian is one of them, and he streams Sunday nights. Okay, so I'm ready to combine these three objects. The tentacles, or tentacles and the eyelids and the head. These three things. Okay. Mr. Digital Works, watching a lot of streams. One of your students lately. Absolutely love this kind of stylized style. Really thinking of hopping into your workshop. Do it. Will there be a Christmas discount? No, there will not. I'm raising my prices soon, and the reason why is because I launched my course 4 years ago, and it's remained the exact same price this entire time. And I've essentially doubled the content in there, plus and then some. And I'm re-recording the course again as 2.0, and I'm doing it in a whole new kind of way where I'm doing weekly challenges. And so you can get in there and you can take your time and do these weekly challenges, but they're set up to do in a week. And we're at, I think, week 7 now. And we're just kind of working our way through, and we're doing the weekly workshops live, but once they're recorded, they're done. So now is a fantastic time to hop in. And when that is all done recording, I'm going to raise the price of it. So it's where's the course? It's at 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Check it out over there. Okay, let's merge this down. And it comes with I would like to call it a world-class community. with tons of active students in there. It's super fun. Super fun. I can show you a little behind the scenes preview of the community if you want to check it out. Because I'm not very good at marketing. I'll just say that right now. And I'm not very good at showing people what is in the course. I need to be better. I need to do better at that. But I'll show you. I'll give you a little preview. Check this out. Let me hide the Restream chat for a second. This is the community right now as of today. You can see all of this amazing artwork. None of this is mine. This is all student work, all of it. So yeah, very, very cool. Anyway, now, like I said, now is a fantastic time to join us. We're working through these weekly challenges. It's going really well. Super proud of all the students in there and all the work they're putting through. So what's a workshop? It's an online course, a lifetime access online course. I have lots of, it's tons and tons of tutorials, I would say over 200 hours worth of training in there. Do you ever do a ZBrush challenge similar to Lego Masters? That's not a bad idea, Comics. I've been watching Lego Masters quite a while. Actually, one of the students, a Lego Master, one of the not a contestant on Lego Masters, but he's an actual Lego Master. Like, he builds those giant sculpts, and he's a student in the class. So, but he's kind of involved in the Lego Masters TV show a little bit. So that's not a bad idea. That'd be kind of fun. When will you raise the price? I don't know exactly for sure, but as soon as those are recorded is when I'm going to do it. So I'm not sure. If you're on my emailing list, I'll tell you plenty of time. I'll give you plenty of time. That 200 hours plus content is purely yours. Yes. There aren't any other instructors in there right now. I'm planning on bringing some more on for an acceleration program that's coming as well. And I'd like to throw this out to you guys. But the another I'm thinking about 2 new products. The acceleration program, and then another one that's kind of like a Patreon. It's not going to be on Patreon, but it's like Patreon, where I'm going to be streaming like this, but only for patrons, I guess. They're just members. So if you're interested, the URL is above my head. It's 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Check it out. Jack Cricket, post your stuff. Okay. Thanks, Neil. Okay, so let's merge these down. Down again. CGMA is good stuff too. When it comes to draftsmanship and 3D, I know some artists who ignore 2D and some who went from 2D to 3D. Do you suggest a marriage of these skills to help? You can. I mean, you totally can, but I myself, I'm really not a good 2D draftsman. I am somewhat, but I mean, I drew a lot when I was a kid, like in high school and stuff. I was a 2D artist, but I kind of put that down and focused 100% on my 3D work. But it can only help. It's not going to hinder you. It'll only help you. So is it absolutely 100% necessary? No, but it helps because it's more understanding of the art, right? If you're learning anatomy, it doesn't matter if you're drawing it or sculpting it, you're learning anatomy, right? It just depends on what you're doing. So okay. These are merged together. I'm just going to stitch them now. Oh, come on. Let's see. Remesh by union. And accepts. Okay. now we can smooth these out. Let me actually turn on Sculptress Pro. It's a little dense. Still dense. That's because she's so big. There we, that's too, okay. There we go. Not changing it much. All right. Nikki Solanki. I've not heard of that person. Is it more production stuff? I go into, well, of course you know since you're in my course, but I go into a bit of the production stuff, just enough to get you curious and want to learn more about it. And have success in baking maps and things like that. Hair cards for games, yeah. I haven't done too much of that in my career, but I have a little bit of experience doing it. And hair cards is like retopology. You just kind of have to do it. You just have to get in there and lay them out by hand until they're done. What ZBrush tool would you suggest to improve or appear for company staff? So, well, you're watching the Pixologic live stream right now, and so I like to keep the questions to ZBrush and on ZBrush. So, so my answer would be in this, it would be ZBrush, you know, and then any other program that you can use with along with ZBrush. But for texturing, I typically use Substance Painter. No, Neil, I let her lips get stitched together, and that's okay. For this. Hey Talden, how's it going? I never get hair cards versus fiber mesh and XGen. So, well, a hair card is, the reason it's called a hair card because it's essentially a card. It's like a square polygon, a card that you just lay on the head, and one edge of it is attached to the head, and the other side is hanging off, and then you texture that with hair, like with hairs, and usually the hair has alpha and I can't get into it too much because it's really technical, but anisotropic shader and like high gloss map and all sorts of stuff to make it look like hair, but it's literally a bunch of polygons as hair hanging on a head. Like, just look up hair cards on Google and you'll see a whole bunch of different images of cards as hair. And you don't really use it with XGen or anything like that. It's just like it's cards that you lay across the head of your character. So I hope that makes sense. It's hard to explain when I can't really show you. Just down just a bit. Hey, Chris. Yeah, XGen is mainly for film, television shows, where you need hair simulation, or if you're just doing a render. Hair cards are for video games. Oh, goodness. All right, Neil, are you taking off then? You weren't supposed to be here. How long does it take to get used to ZBrush navigation controls. I just got it a couple days ago. Well, it depends on how quick of a learner you are and how in depth you are, like how much muscle memory you have for those other programs, I guess. I'm actually going to fill this with this dark color first. Just on break. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, from Clerks. I wasn't supposed to be here today. I was thinking more Shawshank Redemption. Not supposed to be here. Yeah, it's streaming. Or I've checked out some of the Kevin Smith's behind the scenes on it a little bit. I've showed you my my Silent Bob, right? I'm kind of a huge nerd, and when I go to Comic-Con, I dress up as Silent Bob. Let's see. If you guys want to see it, let me know and I'll show you. Oh, that's why. Okay. Getting some really strange things happening, and I think it's because I'm Sculptress Proing at the same time. Dogma. I was more of a Mallrats guy. You need to see it now? Okay, give me a sec. So it's myself with my friend. Hold on a second. Let me find it. With my friend John Day, that's his name. And he moved to Germany for work, so he's no longer here in the US to be my J. So the job for J is open. But I'm also no longer heavy. I've lost like 50 pounds, so I'm not really... I guess I could be the Silent Bob that's in Clerks 3. Because he's now lost some weight, but... Okay, I found it. Here we go. Let's pull this down. Sorry, it's taking me a second. All right, ready? Image reveal. There you go. Silent Bob. Yeah, you could do it, Ian. Totally. Yeah, we actually won. We won two cosplay contests for this. So yeah, I can do a mean Silent Bob. Okay. Yeah, Ian, I think you could pull off Jay. Come on, what's going on? Where's my color? Where's my color at? Has it got a mask? What's going on? Oh, RGB intensity. There we go. There we go. Okay. Lost the video, but chat's still going. I'll have to watch the rest later. All right, Neil, thanks so much, man. Yeah, can I do the voice? You mean this voice? Or when he says, he only talks when he has something epic to say, right? But can Ian do Jay? You have to practice, Ian. Snoochie boochies. Yeah. Oh man, there's so many good one-liners. Could also do Blunt Man and Chronic. And I know a lot of this is from the lighting, but I'm going to kind of fake it a little bit here. Interesting colors. Chrissy. How'd you do the suction cups? Well, I hate to say this, but if you watch this video back on YouTube, you can watch exactly how I make them. But I essentially made an insert multi-mesh brush. Let's hide them for a second. Paint this. A sphere? What are you talking about? So it looks like a single suction cup. Looks like this. It's like a bowl. And so I just draw it on. A cylinder, right. Now, one thing I like to do, somebody asked me what's my least favorite part about sculpting, but I think my favorite part is poly painting because it kind of feels like I'm painting a miniature, you know, like a D&D figurine or something, and that part's super fun to me. And it's really hard for me not to do it right away because I always want to just get the paint in there. I'm going to give her these bigger lashes too. I think these are just kind of placeholders. I might even go download that lashes brush. Hey, Walter. Sorry, I cannot speak. Can you use poly paint outside of ZBrush? Yes, you can. So the good folks at Pixologic actually rewrote OBJ to support vertex coloring. So that's essentially what polypaint is vertex coloring. So the polypaint, when you export an OBJ out of here, and I think it also works with FBX, you can export it out and it will come into other programs like Marmoset in order to bake the textures from your high resolution to your low resolution texture maps. How are you moving only a small portion with Transpose? Oh, I was using the brush, and then when I was doing Transpose, I was moving the whole thing. So sorry if I fooled you there for a second. I really want to get into sculpting minis, especially now that Magpie Games have launched their Avatar Legend. Yeah, I bought it. I was so into that. I'm just like, boom. I printed out the starter thing. I want to play it with my kids. Yeah, I should actually reach out to them. I should see if they need some minis. Let's make some minis. I'd be down for that. I usually don't do oops. I usually don't do much freelance work anymore because all my time these days is completely devoted to my students and upgrading stuff, but occasionally I'll do some freelance work. And that would be something I would love to do. Let me fill these with this reddish color. Let's do something. Thanks, Tom. Tom, I almost pulled the trigger and bought me some new harmonicas the other day. I need to. So we can do a little jam session. I haven't got me a banjo yet. Oh man, I told you about the Brian Kessinger banjo, right? I missed out on that opportunity. How much would you normally charge for this character fully modeled and rendered? It completely, absolutely depends on the time it would take me, the detail that the character had, what the final destination of the character would be, and all of that stuff, and how much iterations I would have to do, all of that stuff. So, oh, it was just the one time, Tom. I think I told you already. This is why I'm bringing it up again. I can't remember. How often do I find myself using shadow box? Next to never is what I would say. I'm not a big shadow box fan. It's okay. It's more of a novelty for me at this point, but I don't really use it that much. Oh, no, my text? Did I miss a second text? Sorry, I'm not picking up what you're throwing down, Tom. You know, it depends on what you're doing with what you're printing, because like an extrusion printer, the plastic for those super cheap. So if you're doing like terrain, for example, for like an RPG, a tabletop I can't even talk today. RPG. So yeah, if you're doing terrain, I would totally recommend an extrusion printer, not a resin printer. But for like little props and characters and all that kind of stuff, resin all the way. Yeah, if you're doing figures, then you want resin. That's what I don't think you guys can see what I have behind. I got a Form 3 on a good deal and a Form 2 on a good deal. So I actually have a Form 2 and a 3 behind me. I need to put them to work. Yeah, printing solid is kind of a big deal for support, stability, all that. How big are you going to print them? Warhammer, that shouldn't take up too much. I mean, it's still a lot of resin, don't get me wrong, but hey, Daniel. Doing well, thank you. I don't know the size of a Warhammer figurine. It's about that big. I think when this will really come to life is when I do the eyes. All right, Tom. And did you guys know that you can blur or blend color without smoothing out the surface of the model? By essentially just, if you hold down shift. All right, take care, man. Thanks for hanging out. If you hold down shift and you turn Z add off of your smooth brush, but you leave RGB on, you can just come along here and just kind of smooth it out if you want to, and it just blurs, just blends between the neighboring color. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. Let's see, I need to zoom in on this to see what's going on with those lips. So in order to extract a color from your reference image, you need to have this ring showing, or else it doesn't work. Sculptress does work with polypaint, indeed. But if you're going to be doing the smooth thing with your color, just make sure you turn it back off. Turns the add back on, I mean. Sure, Derek. Okay, let's mess with those eyes. You know, I'm going to show you a trick with these eyes too. I'm just going to steal the eye right from this, because with Chrissy's figures, her eyes are very, very, like, you know it's her painting just by looking at the eyes and how they're done of the characters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it on down. How do you have the reference just floating there in Spotlight? I just loaded up in Spotlight. So you just load it up right here. The background is 100% black. That's why it's getting knocked out. So it looks like a sticker. And then you can just take it into Photoshop, and I just paint out the background with black. And then and I put some text on there. and then I turned you just want to make sure you don't have any 100% black in the actual image, or else it will get knocked out as well. And you just load it up. You just have to make sure that you turn spotlight projection off. So let's see. Okay, with these eyes. She needs a more prominent Cupid's bow? What do you mean? Oh, I still need to make this anchor. Are you talking about her necklace? To get color from a reference, I usually put a picture in Spotlight and paint it on a cube. Oh yeah, yeah. So essentially you just hit Z or Z, pull up this ring, and then you can hit C to eyedrop. You can see the colors changing over on the color thing. See that? Da, 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 da. Oh, the dip in the top lip. Yeah, I actually I leave that out on purpose. If you make it too deep there, it takes away from the appeal. I got you now. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like to put them too prominently. Just like smile lines, I don't put deep smile lines because it takes away from the appeal. Same with lower eyelids. There's certain things I'll put in there and certain things I'll leave out. And her cheek, I'm probably gonna tune that down just a little bit. I'm not sure. Okay, let's fix our zombie eyes, shall we? Okay. After we save this. All right. We can duplicate these, so if we want to, we can go back. And then, can Keyshot render polypaint? Yes, it can. Yep. Yeah, you can send it right over. Okay, so I'm just going to do this left eye, and then it's going to be mirrored, so the highlight will be wrong, but that's okay. We'll fix it. Okay, and then this texture, I might just hand paint these now that I'm looking at it, because it's pretty grainy at this size. Maybe I will. Okay, yeah, I'll have it big just right here. So in Keyshot, if you want to add materials but keep the poly paint, all you have to do is hold down Alt, and you can drag a material and drop it onto an object, and it will keep the poly paint, and it'll just change the parameters of the material, which is super nice. Okay, so let's do mask by intensity. Okay, and then sharpen. Let's flip it. Okay, I'm trying to decide if I want to do my my live Boolean trick where I cut these out. I think I might. You guys want to see that? I can do that. Then we can just have the highlight in there. There's a real piece of geometry floating, and then just cut these sections out. I did this during my last year's ZBrush Summit. They asked me to do a little trick, and basically I'll show it to you now. So I'll do an insert multi-mesh, grab a sphere, and draw it on here. Oh, looks like this has subdivision levels. Yep, okay. So since I don't need this, I'm actually going to delete lower. So I'm doing it a different way. Let's grab a color. Okay. Right in the center. Okay. And I don't want them perfectly spheres, so I'm going to shrink them down. Oh, come on. There we go. Something like that. This is an IMM tool that I made myself, and I give it away for free over on my website. at 3dcharacterworkshop.com if you want to go grab them. All of these strange looking brushes are brushes that I made, including this insert multi-mesh brush with a bunch of primitives and these paint brushes. Okay, so I'm going to split unmask points. Yep, free. Free. Okay, I'm going to put this in its own folder called Eyes. Eyes. And change this to negative, and then turn on live Boolean. It should extract out. Not work with subdivision levels. Let's see. Come on, what's the deal? Why won't it show me? Oh my gosh. Because I have a mask? What's going on? There we go. Okay. Oh, it's the, okay. That's what's going on. All right. Let's go a little higher, delete, lower, delete, higher. There we go. We'll hide this one. How come my masks are sometimes choppy and won't extract with straight edges even if the mesh is subdivided a lot or dynameshed at a higher res? I'd have to look at it. I don't know. But usually my my mask will just be jagged, and you can do an edge loop mask selected or edge loop mask border, and sometimes that will help. So there we go. Hey James, I'm doing well, thanks. Will the model be rigged or just left in a static bust pose? For now, I might pose it like the concept, but I'm most likely not going to rig it. Okay, so now you can see how this is being subtracted. And what's cool about this is, see how she's got a darker, oh, here, I'll show you really fast. Edge loop mask border. So let me show you, let me go here and append a sphere. Okay. I don't know why it's not showing me my wireframes. What's going on? Where is my wireframes? Okay. So essentially what you want to do is mask the object out. But for some reason, there we go. There we go. Okay, got it, got it. Okay, so you make a mask, whatever it is. So if you, I think what you're trying to say is usually when you go to extract, you have a crappy border edge, right? Why is it not showing extract? There it is. So it's kind of loose, not really tight. So if I undo that, whoops, let's paint the mask. You can go to masking, And then there's this thing called edge loop. It's in my menu. Let me find it. It's this right here. It's under geometry, edge loop mask border. Okay, it's under geometry. Edge loop mask border. It's right here. Okay. And if you click on it, what that does is it puts a really nice, clean edge around your masked selection, and it masks the inside and it gives you a poly group. See that? Super clean, right? So maybe that's what you're looking for. Does that help? Hopefully that helps. Sorry, I said that a little Mike Pavlovich fast. I didn't mean to click on this. Okay, what I was going to say is, what's cool about this is I can grab a color and I can paint it right on this object that's being subtracted out from the eyeball. Okay, so you can see this. I'm just coloring this dark above here. And that will transfer to the subtraction. So take a look at that. See that? Boom. How cool is that? So now what I have left is this dark border around this eye. Okay. He's the M&M zebra. He totally is. Okay, but I know that my gizmo is right at the spot it needs to be for me to add a cylinder. All right, Ika, thanks for hanging out, man. Did I miss your post? Sorry if you said something and I didn't say hi. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate this. So now I have two. And for this one, I do want to subtract it as well, but I don't want a duplicate of it. I want to replace it with a cylinder. So let's turn on this frame so we can see what's going on. Turn off live booleans. Okay, see this cylinder here? That's because it's facing the wrong direction. Let's pull it outwards. Okay, and it's a little small. So I'm going to scale it up. This is going to turn into the border. Turn on dynamic. This is going to turn into the border ring of that iris. So I'm going to set it like right on the border edge of this. Let's turn on live boolean again. Turn it to mask, or turn it to subtract. Okay, you can see it start to take effect, but this is white. I don't know why it's white. Got to fill it with this darker brown color. Oops, not switch. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can start to see it because that's cutting out the ring. Let's move it just a bit, scale it a bit more. Okay. And it's kind of hard to manage, I'm not going to lie. But that's kind of how you can create a ring. See, it's not the perfect the perfect thickness around there. It's kind of going in and out because the scale of the sphere was that way. How do you check normal orientation in ZBrush? You basically just turn on or off double-sided. That's all. There's no like, you know, those little lines that show you the direction everything is facing in another program. That ZBrush doesn't have that here. Yeah, typically I will build out the eyes like out of polygons. I'll use a sphere with poles, and I will, you know, build out the eyes and push them in and do all that stuff. But in ZBrush, when I'm doing sculpts, particularly for 3D printing, I won't go to all that trouble because you won't see the transparency of it. You can see this eyelid. See how the eyelid is kind of peeking through here? I'm just going to take this this detail brush and just cut that away. so you can't see that. James, if I do, I can't say anything about it. Because yeah, people are under strict NDAs with that stuff. So I wish people could talk about it. What was that brush you just used to move the eyelid? Oh, it was just my detail brush. It's a lot like the Damien standard brush, but not. It's a little different. I tweaked it a little bit, but I started using it as the Damien standard brush. Okay, let's get. I'm going to do this outside of the eyes, I think. We draw it on this one. Oh gosh dang, it's still. If insert multi-mesh doesn't work if you have subdivision surfaces. Okay. I'm just drawing out a highlight, a fake false highlight on these eyes here. Yep. I don't know how many NDAs I've signed in my life, but more than I can count. Okay, now I'm going to turn off. I'm going into character rigging next year in my games art degree. Any tips? Any tips? Not really. Just soak it all in, learn as much as you can. And also, I kind of wish they would have animation classes before they put you into rigging, because then you would kind of know what you're rigging for. Does that make sense? It's kind of like being in the military and them taking away all your freedom so you know what you're fighting for. Kind of that's a weird. Anyway, it's like you need to learn how to animate so you know what kind of rig you want to build for the animators, essentially. Yeah, Ryan, that would be crazy, right? Fucking kind of rigging that up. But I spent 5 years of my career as an animator, and about 2 years of my career as doing rigging, and the rest sculpting characters. By far, I enjoy sculpting characters the most. Always check your character from below and above to make sure your face structure is right. Hey, Lord Humongous, how's it going, man? Okay, let's see here. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to have time to get into this necklace today. But I start my first year in 3D animation at college next Monday. Nice. Okay, now I kind of want to get her expression a little bit more here. Give her that pouty, almost angry expression. She's really dense though. just saving it. Visited a prop studio last week and saw stuff for upcoming new TV shows I can't talk about. Nice. Yep, it's like sign your life right here on the dotted line. Are the Irish? Yeah, they're scooped. I just barely got done doing them. They are scooped out, but they also have an extra bit of hand paint going on to emphasize that scooped look. I'm going to do this part without the eyebrows for a second. She totally reminds me of that collector's assistant. She has the same color of skin and everything. I was saying earlier in the stream, if you haven't seen the What If on Disney Plus, you should check it out. It's pretty interesting. I know. No spoilers, but yes, I know. Same. That's a super, super crappy thing. I'd like to work for that prop company. I know one of the owners and he likes the hard surface stuff I've done and was giving me advice about the industry. A lot more pressure than I expected. Yeah, I can imagine. I'm going to save all these little dots for very last. All these little bits of skin interest. And her looking a direction. Usually save that for later too. Stretch her mouth out just a bit. Making her nose just a tad taller. Can you recommend a few good artists that can teach me hard surface concepting, like mech designs? Or I wish I could. I don't really know many or any. Because I'm all about stylized characters. But yeah, prop stuff, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse, you know? Yeah, Chrissy's great. She does phenomenal stuff. Phenomenal. Okay. I kind of want to paint her lower eyelids just darker. Oh. The slow build up on these. Oh, yes, James. Duh. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing him up. Yeah, Michael Andrew Nash. He did, yeah, most of the Horizon Zero Dawn robots. Absolutely fantastic. Phenomenal. That's one of my favorite games of all time. Super sad. That guy. Oh, yeah. Good stuff. His stuff is intense. Okay, let's see here. I think I'm just going to block out this this necklace thing here. It's an interesting inker. I'm going to do the mask extract method on this. No, these tentacles are kind of in the way. Okay. Let's see what this looks like here. Oh, too much. I think that'll work. Yes, it looks ugly, but it's okay. Where did it go? There we go. Yeah, James, I don't blame you, man. Not at all. Did you make the brush for the suction cups? I did. I made an insert multi-mesh brush for them. These days, thanks for stopping by. Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks. Good luck with your render. Take care. Going too low here. Okay. I'm gonna turn off live Boolean just for a second. Her eyes are gonna look freaky. Now, I believe this is supposed to be a rope. So I'm just gonna cut these lines in by hand. Maybe a little tighter on the Sculptress Pro action. Which reminds me, I used to be in the military. I was in the U.S. Navy, and they knew I was an artist. I was a sign artist back then. This was in the 90s sometime. 90s? Anyway, they flew me to Colorado Springs, Colorado, to paint a sign. And it had a rope all the way around the outside. Soft P is a shade. Oh, soft B. This is soft paint, and this is a brush I made. I just tweaked it to my liking, but I still have that Facebook page open. So I think I can hop right to it. Okay, check this out. See this? That's me in the Navy. This is a sign I painted back, I don't even know when. I think that might say 95. I can't tell. This is before phones were awesome. But that's me as a young buck. Oh, goodness. Thanks. Doing characters since 1995. Yeah, they put me on a plane and sent me down there. Could you paint this sign? We'll get the paints. Sure. Yeah, in boot camp, I was also assigned to paint the company flag. I think we had a flag. I got a picture of that somewhere. I have no idea. Yeah, I was a CB, construction battalion, heavy equipment operator. To me, it was just like a giant video game, right? Those heavy like bulldozers and stuff. And yes, I'm putting a lot more sections in this than Chrissy did in the concept. I just want it to have kind of this hand sculpted look. Did you test in doing signs, or they just noted you? Yeah, it was just kind of a rumor that I knew how to do it, so they kind of yeah, they kind of did it sight unseen, honestly. They're just like, we heard you can paint some signs. Yeah, I guess. Cool. Can you paint the logo on a sign? Sure. Wonder if it's still there. That sign. It's been a long time. But I used to work for a sign shop before I got into doing this. I always thought I would open a sign shop. I thought that's what I was destined to do. I thought I was a sign maker. Until I saw an ad in the newspaper one day for a game tester. I'd always been into video games, you know. For a place locally called Sculptured Software. They did the ports of Mortal Kombat. And I went down there and I applied. I didn't realize they had they employed artists, you know, like character artists and stuff. Like, what? Tell me how to do that. And I got the typical answer, you know, go to school for it. And back then, you know, this was when Toy Story barely first came out. There were no schools teaching that stuff. So I'm just like, oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. You know, I ended up going to Seattle, to the Art Institute of Seattle. I was one of their first students to go through their computer animation program. But at the time, it was so new that we were learning faster than the instructors that were teaching us. So that's when 3D Studio Max first came out. ZBrush wasn't out yet. Your stepdad's a sign man? Everybody wants to be a sign man. Oh man, that's funny. I've never heard that before. Nobody wants to be a sign man. I actually used to put letters on big rigs, like the sides of truck and trailers, you know, the big rigs. Okay, I don't know how much I like that necklace. I don't think I do. I think I'll make it in a different way. Hey, it's a good block out, right? It's all right. Maybe it needs color. This weird orange color. Oh. Everybody wants to be a sign man, huh? That's funny. Yeah, I'll have to go through and color these. Out of Memphis. Oh, small business signs. I wish it was more lucrative than it is. You're not making millions being a sign guy. Unless you're doing big signs like baseball parks and stuff. All right, guys, my time is up. This is where we part ways. Said all 3D artists. You know, 3D artists, if you get on at the right company, it can be pretty dang lucrative. All right, that is all. Please tip your waitresses. I'm here all week. I need to paint the whites of her eyes better. Look at that. That's going to make all the difference in the world. What am I doing? Okay, one last thing. Got to do it. Yeah, no worries. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Got to paint these eyes really quickly. It's going to drive me crazy if I don't. Yeah, Raf's one of the few that is raking in the, but Raf's amazing. I have to give it to that guy. He can sculpt like the wind blows. That works. That's better. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. Take care. Have a wonderful week. And we will see you all next Monday. All right. Take care.